All right. Good morning. Good morning. Hopefully everyone's feeling well. It's 6:32. It's January 16th. It is Thursday. It is post CPI. It is post PPI. So inflation seems to have quieted down a little bit, which helped, give the market a big gap and go yesterday. Daily, I talk about developing a go time. Week over week, I try and help everyone strengthen their mind. And for days like yesterday, because yesterday was a tough type of setup where the market was kind of a little neutral to negative. You get a light CPI, you get a big gap up. First hour trading, you're not sure if the gap's going to hold. You're not sure how you could put on positions, but then your mind's telling you maybe you could buy this versus that. Maybe you can get in here. Maybe you could put some things on there, and you could develop, a few different, swing type longs to figure out whether or not we have another active sequence to the upside. So if you look here at the SPYs, numerous times yesterday, I tweeted, I'm like, you now have a pro gap or a gap and go or whatever you want to call it, which could start a new active sequence to the upside. So after a 4 or 5% correction from the highs, you didn't have to call a bottom here, but it was good to cover some shorts into this down move that filled the post-election gap, and then even if you didn't take so much risk on, into the CPI, because it could have gone either way, you had time to adjust, time to put on some positions, time to, some, guys were definitely, including me for a little bit. I'm like, oh, this kind of sucks, a little paralyzed, but then you start to put on some positions versus levels, take a little risk, and it starts working out, and then boom, you're back in rhythm. Rhythm is very, very important for the market. Now, yesterday I came in with not a lot of positions, and then I left with a bunch. I'm not saying they're all going to work, but I figured, hey, it's time to buy some things versus levels and trade around it. If we get some follow through tomorrow, which is today, and we're up about 15 handles, you could trim into some strength, and then you could buy some back. Like right now, my best position overnight that I bought yesterday was Nvidia. So what I'll do is I'll trim a little bit, because that's what I trim when a gap in my favor. So the VTF will see me, they'll probably see the NVIDIA flash red, which I have on the board there. Sometimes pre-market, it's a little less liquid. It takes time. So then it sees I had it overnight. I gave everyone a little bit of confidence to buy some, and then I manage it. So you manage a position, you buy back, and I know TSM was one of the reasons why the semis are up. But I thought it was a good play. Tesla's down a little bit. I'll buy a little bit more. Amazon's up a little bit. I thought it's been trading well, and I put on some ARBE, which is my little robotics play. So I have a little bit everything, a little bit of working out. So at this point, again, you have this gap. I would think that at some point, you have like this new downtrend right here where we're not quite above it yet, which we're not. But, if we could hold here and digest, at some point we break above it, all of a sudden, the market starts acting better, and then you massage positions. Then if it lasts for multiple weeks, that's when you start putting on really good positions that, start adding up. So that's the thoughts. By the way, my name is Scott Redler. I am the Chief Strategic Officer of T3Live.com, and I'm the founder of Red Dog Mindset. Feeling good this morning, was in the sauna, was in the ice barrel, was thinking about multiple plans on how to adjust for the day so I could execute with confidence later. That's what we do. That's how we stay in this business. We think about multiple plans. If we were down today, I would be buying more versus this gap pivot. Now that we're up, I'm trimming some, and we'll see how it goes. I just talked about NVIDIA, so we might as well put NVIDIA up again. So if you sold NVIDIA when it failed on CES day and did this double top, or when it broke below the prior low, down here to me, it was worth a trade. Yesterday, right around 11 o'clock, first they were trying to, make NVIDIA go red. The bears were trying to make a stand that they were going to fade yesterday the way they faded the PPI, and they just didn't do it. And then when the market pulled in around 10:30, 11, NVIDIA got stronger. That's when I got a little bit more aggressive. So this is a nice trade. It's right now opening above the moving averages. Right here is like 140-ish. So this will be a spot where we'll see whether or not it gets through or not. On the other note, the semis, AVGO, I'm not in, but I want to be in. I do have it on as a power play with options. If it gets above and stays above there, I think there is, there's room. This has been acting pretty well, and now with TSM out of the way, maybe some of the semis get better. And I do think this held in pretty well. So I think there's a good chance that, some guys are still long versus gap pivot or versus 219, not me. and they're getting a nice gap up. For me, I'm going to probably look to see if I could add to this. As far as other things, yeah, I'm in Tesla. Why am I in Tesla? Because Tesla repaired really fast. It got back above the moving averages, got back above 403. It took out resistance. It's down a little bit this morning. You know what? I'll probably wait a little bit. I'll add to my position and then maybe even sell some puts. I do think I want to stay back with Tesla. It's above the moving averages. And, this day kind of was a little bit of a curveball, but it is what it is. That was then, this is now. You have to adjust, when the market tells you to adjust. NVIDIA right now is up 250, so that's giving some nice follow through. Tesla right now, I looked before, it's down 227. Not a big deal. People are like, there's no follow through in Tesla. I'm like, Tesla was up 30 points yesterday. Relax. What you could do is you could go to your chart from yesterday, put up the intraday just to see, where it came from, where, maybe, there's a good spot to buy it back. This would be pretty aggressive. This would be 424. But ultimately, I would say if it pulls in intraday, this would be, a better, this would be a spot that I would think would hold 420-ish. So if it gets to 424 and holds and goes green, you're going to make some extra cash flow. If it goes to 420, that would be a spot where I'm like, all right, we should hold around here for any good. So anyway, that not everything, goes as planned overnight, or sometimes you can make more money when it's down, because it goes to red to green and then pushes through the prior high, and then you have more size than you had overnight. Or sometimes like NVIDIA, instead of buying more, if NVIDIA was down $1, I'd be buying more, but because it's up 250, I'm trimming some. That's how you manage your portfolio approach. Let me say hello to some of my dogs around the world. Let's see who we got tuning in here. Okay, I'm on YouTube right now. I'm on Twitter. We got Ali Hassan up and early. We got Granddad Crypto. Good morning, Scotty. What up, Janny? Good morning from Hungary. Love it. The UK's in the house. Space Specialist is always around. Very consistent. Got It's in the house. Bobby 4.0. Hopefully you're feeling well. That's my buddy. Got Sully. We got Austin. Hey, there's Mario. Cisco Mario. Anyway, hopefully everyone's doing good. I know a lot of people are asking me, Red Dog, when are you going to get your subscribe button for 20 to 520? I want to do, my morning, meditation and get the blood flow and get ready for the day for the pre game. Well, I'm waiting on Twitter. But at this point, it's all good. Let's just keep moving along. Let's keep making money in the market. Let's keep making the right decisions. Some people are like, hey, Red Dog, did you see SMTC? Look at that move. This, when markets correct and stocks don't correct, you better grab them. I started listing this in the Redler report and on the Alpha team prior to this. Some guys like you could do it two ways. I always say you could do it two ways. That's why you have a tier system. Buy versus support, so you're in it at a good price. Then add to it when it gets in motion, like out above 69. And right now, what's it doing this morning? Should be up a little bit. It's up $1.69, giving some upside follow through. So if you took this home, maybe you trim and trail. But nice leader right there. Can't be upset about that. In mega cap tech land, you have Amazon looking pretty good. I took some of that home. Why? It got back above the moving averages. It held support. I would think now maybe this could work its way higher. First level would be like 2488, which would be right here. That would be a spot that you could trim into, but then there's this whole quadrant here. You could actually even draw. I think there's like a lot of descending channels now, a lot of like trend lines where it's like, you could rally to it. And then the question is, does it get above and stay above it? Meta's down because, there was some news that they want to save TikTok. Meta's a tough name, I'll tell you. You might as well just go out and buy options, because from one day to the next, it's definitely loose and wide and could make you drink. On a Thursday morning, you don't want to be drinking vodka. You want to be drinking a little iced coffee. So Meta is down today. It's probably buyable, to be honest. Just you have to take some pain. And it's probably, if you're long it, because you could have been long it yesterday. It's above the moving averages, looks good. So you didn't do the wrong thing by taking Meta home. You always just want to know if you did the wrong thing. It's down 7. It's at 609. You would think this should hold 606.50. I'm not in Meta, so I might buy it versus 606.50, just because I do think, whether TikTok's banned or not, Meta is going to be just fine. Right now, it's just having emotional swings with the computers. Apple, Apple to me is still more broken, but there are some individuals that did buy it down here with this bottom tail, or added to it with a higher low, but there's a lot of moving averages above. It's up a $1.60. Would I be buy if I was active, which I am active? That's what I do. Would I buy the opening Apple? Probably not. Doesn't mean you have to short it, but here's this is what? This is 240. We're right around 240, or 241ish. These are a lot of resistance above. I do think that TSM is a positive read through for Apple somewhat. So maybe just don't have short in the brain, but at this point Apple was more on the weaker side, so I didn't take it. I know so is Nvidia. I just felt as if I just felt more secure with Nvidia. So anyway, Apple to me, I love it to death. I'm hoping that they get that foldable phone soon so I can get a new phone. But either which way, again, you pick and choose where you want to live, where you don't always want to be in your comfort zone, but things that make a little bit more sense. Some guys are asking me about some of the hyper growth, like Dash. I like Dash. I got long Dash yesterday. It didn't act fantastic into the end of the day, but ultimately, I do think Dash this year, if you learn how to trade it, could see 225 to 250. So, I do think this story is young with Dash. And if you look here at the weekly chart, you'll see that, all it's doing right now is consolidating a big move. You have a huge cup and handle. It's building a bit of an upper platform here. And then at some point, I would think, this Dash, could see, the 225, 250 area, which was where it was when it came public. So I like this. Some of my fundamental longer term guys really like it. It's probably more of an investment. It doesn't trade the way I love things to trade, but I kind of like it. What's crypto doing this morning? Let's see. I did get back in IBIT. It's down 26 cents. Not a big deal. Not everything's going to work the way you want it to work in the morning. IBIT had a nice move. You probably could buy a dip. So IBIT, which I do have some on, okay, gave you a bunch of different ways to do it. Crypto, right? You had the 100, what was this? The 50-day held while the market went to the 100-day. It did a red dog reversal, broke levels, came back above, then it held in here and had a nice move. So I would say, for this to be awesome, not awesome, but just kind of special, it should not break 54-ish. And you should be able to buy the dip here and let it go sideways. And then at some point, it gets better again. It's still absorbing, a really big move in crypto from the October 11th turkey trot was when we were buying Bitcoin to the 108,000 peak. Now it's consolidating and at some point probably gets going again. So you got to massage these positions. You got to know your tier size. You got to know what you can sit through when it's digesting. You got to know when it's in motion, when you could put more stuff on. I'm sure Mr. probably is just off a little bit also. If IBIT is off a little bit, what's Mr. doing? Mr. is down 3. Not a big deal. Look where Mr. came from 301 all the way up here. Now for Mr., I would think if it's going to be special, make it easy, Mr. should probably hold, 353. So if you're in some, I would give it a little bit of time, because if you buy it too quick and it wants to hang out and digest a little bit more, you might not be able to hold it because it'll mess with your mind. But here you are at 357. You would think 353 holds, but it could even, retest these moving averages a little below. These crypto names, they like to make you feel a little bit bad about yourself. So here's 353. That would make it really easy to hold. And then this is 336. Maybe if it gets to 353, you sell the 330 puts, because it shouldn't get it below that if it's going to be any good. Sometimes that's how I do when I'm like not trying to be perfect, and you think crypto and it's going to get better, or in a new active sequence, it gets down to 353. You could either buy it or maybe say, hey, I don't think it's going to break this moving forward. You sell some 330 puts because you don't mind owning it there, and then that way you keep some premium. Just a lot of little ways to do it, my dogs. Snow. I haven't looked at snow in a while, so software, huh? This was the gap here, so I guess you can move it to here now. It's fair. These things have been so damn sloppy. Somebody pointed out TWLO. This looks good. This Twilio looks like, the Twilio of old. I remember when we used to trade this a long time ago. All in all, wow. If you haven't noticed what's going on here, this looks pretty good, as if it's going to continue to the upside. So this, I don't think this is software, but I'm just saying this is something to put on the radar. Above the moving averages, high level consolidation. That's something that I'm going to watch a little closer. I'll tell you that. Maybe I'll start putting this a little bit more on the go-to list. Some people ask, hey, Red Dog, how do stocks come and go? For your go-to list, what does it have? Things have to do? Well, things have to show their face, showing a corrective face. They hold up better. I will say Palantir didn't really react well. Some guy was pointing out, like, listen, Palantir, what a feeble rally this thing had. I guess it's still going through its major correction phase after a tremendous 2024. So I wouldn't read too much into it. RBLX, yes, good. Boops, that's a cool name, Boops. I don't trade this, but a lot of people have been pointing out the strength in Roblox, however you want to say it. Yeah, so this too. This in Robinhood, it's like the reemergence of the craziness. So this was reborn. Remember I said things could be reborn with a big gap up? Well, this was reborn right here, went sideways, and and then started a new active sequence long. So some people say, how do you go from just a trade or a day and a half to maybe a new active sequence? Sometimes it's with a big pro gap that gets defended, and then it continues. And that's what Roblox did right here. So now it continues. So if you're in that, congratulations. Red Dog is not in that. As far as quantum computing, I saw something today about quantum computing that Jensen, I guess, is feels bad that he said 15 to 30 years, and people got on his case. So he's doing some kind of event. I'll list it. I don't have it in front of me with some of the quantum names. So some of these things did bounce. You have what is that? QBTS was one. So maybe this could continue to the upside. I would think these things are higher based on that news. Let's see, QBTS. It's only 50 cents. This gap starts around 679. Okay, that's interesting. He named a few of them that were in this QBTS. Come on, help me out. Anyway, so look at some of the quantum names. I did buy back some of this RBE, ARBE, because I do like the company. It's an Israeli company. They have a deal with NVIDIA. Hit as high as 509. Now it held 260. So I think you could accumulate versus here, and at some point this gets going again. Once the market repairs. But again, this is down the food chain. So if you're going down the food chain, you want to just do it slowly. You're better off going with the leaders first and then down the food chain. IONQ. There you go. You guys are helping me out. This IONQ had a better bet. Look at this. Big gap up, big day. This was a leader. This is already probably in this gap. Let's see where this is. IONQ is up 79 cents, giving a little bit of follow through. Wow, look at that snapback. So these things are GTIs. Let's see this one. This one also. So they all look the same. They all had huge moves. They all broke trend. And, if you bought a dip, you're doing pretty well. And that wasn't easy to do. So congratulations. There's a lot of different ways to go after. So looks like this QBTS. So sometimes you want to be with the leader, but this one's not even near the gap, while IONQ is actually in the gap. So if people start seeing that news and they get excited, which they might, I would get excited if Jensen was hosting a quantum, then maybe there's a good trade there. I will say I like this guy, and I'm gonna kick his every now and then. I like to, oh, look at that Red Dog mindset. Every now and then I like to kick somebody's tires. I do think this guy is a worthy follow, and he's underfollowed. His name is Wall Street, whatever his name. Hold on, let me get it. Let me show you. Where's how do I get this? Search Wall Street. Wall Street Engine. He gives a lot of good information in the morning. He also has a subscribe button where if you want a deeper content. So let me see, where did I see this? So I saw it on his thing. This is, by the way, look at all this information that he has pre-market. Datadog, Google. Where did I see about quantum? Tesla, okay, reiterates neutral rating. Come on, Goldman, you jerk. This TSM is what's really a positive. That's why the semis are up. Walmart. Where did I see this Samsung and the HIMX? By the way, I'll go China to launch anti-dumping. We could have maybe I didn't see it on his thing, but look at all this information. Look at all this free information in the morning. Maybe I saw it earlier. TikTok. Look how early this guy gets up. He gets up like me. I usually retweet his thing for the day. But anyway, I would follow the Wall Street Engine. He's a good guy and he does a lot. So and he breaks things down pretty well. Look how he broke this down. Again. So use your resources. A lot of people complain that Twitter is a cesspool. It's not. I think if you follow the right guys, there are ways to make some good money. Let's go back to So anyway, so that's that. Someone asked me why am I in HIMX. I was in this early. I started playing it in here, and I got stopped out after this red dog reversal, but it repaired fast. A lot of people like this for the entire year. Some institutional price targets are like 18 to 22. So this got me back involved. So with yesterday's move, doesn't mean we're in a new active sequence to the upside, but sometimes it starts it. And again, like I said earlier, the reason why I get my mind right, the reason why I'm in the sauna for 20 minutes every single morning, thinking about the day, thinking about my positions, thinking how I reacted yesterday. So I develop my inner voice for go time. That's what we're going to be doing moving forward. And then I get in my barrel and I feel good. And then I'm here for the 6:30 club and I execute with confidence. Yesterday was a tough day. Big gap up. Everyone thought they were missing everything. But how much did you really miss? We're not even back to where we were when they sold the NVIDIA CES. So get over it, move forward, okay? Get a little mentally tougher and put yourself in a position to win. You can't make changes if you don't make changes. It's 2025. Hopefully you're still doing your push-ups, you're on your diet, you're becoming a better version of yourself and you're stopping those excuses because I hear too many of them out there. Have a good day, guys.